In this video, we show how you can add a SQL Trace Log control to the UX component so you can see the actual SQL commands that get sent to the database. So you can see here we've got a list control that's based on a SQL table. I'm going to go ahead there and do a search for last name equals Fuller, and then go ahead and then run the query. So we've executed a SQL command now to query this database, and if we now go and look at the SQL logs, we can see this is the actual SQL that got sent to the database. So basically we did a SQL query. We started out with a count query, and then we basically did a count query with a where clause, and then finally we actually retrieved the data by executing this SQL statement over here. So this was all done by, first of all, turning on SQL Trace in the connection string itself. So if we go to the connection string builder, we can see that within the connection string there's an option for SQL Trace. So this option has always been there. This is not a new option, but previously the SQL Trace appeared in the log file. So now it's easier to actually just see the SQL Trace. So first we turn on the SQL Trace, and then the next thing that we did was we went into the component itself, into design mode, and went over to the properties page, and in the advanced section there's a property here called capture SQL Trace Log, which we've turned that on, and then we've gone and we've added a control over here to actually display the SQL Trace. So let's go and delete that, and then in the defined controls sections over here there's a control called the SQL Trace Log. So we'll just go ahead and add that, and that's all that you need to do in order to display the SQL Trace Log directly on the dialog, which is easier than having to go to the log files to find the SQL Trace. So if we go there and look at this, this is the initial query to populate the list, and then once we do a search, we'll see the actual SQL that got sent to the SQL database. So displaying the SQL log can sometimes help you track down issues where things might not be working as expected when you are executing SQL queries. So this allows you to see the actual native SQL command that got sent to the database. Thanks very much for watching.